Ladies and gentlemen, there is a hum beneath your thoughts, softer than breath, older than time. It is not made of sound, yet it sings. It does not move, yet it carries you. It is not loud, but it is eternal. This is your vibration. It is the language of your soul, the echo of your essence, the silent music that speaks directly to the divine. Long before you spoke your first word, you were already communicating with the infinite through the frequency of your being. Your vibration is your truth, not the truth you perform, not the truth you shape for the world to accept, but the truth that rises when everything else is still. It is the honest tone of your presence. It is the energy that surrounds you when you enter a room. It is what people feel from you when you say nothing at all. This vibration does not lie. It is beyond words, beyond image, beyond the mask. It cannot be fake, for it is shaped not by what you do, but by who you are. And who you are is divine. There is a still place in you that has never been afraid, never been hurt, never been broken. This place has no memory, no desire, no agenda. It is pure being. And it is from this well that your truest vibration emerges. When you align with that stillness, your frequency becomes the language of God. You no longer speak to the universe in pleas or demands. You speak in vibration, in presence, in truth, in alignment, and the universe answers always, not because it is listening to your words, but because it is feeling your vibration. Your life is not a series of random events. It is a mirror, a reflection, a perfect echo of your inner state. What you hold within is what you live without. And so when you carry shame, the world responds with judgment. When you carry fear, the world becomes threatening. But when you vibrate with love, the world softens. It bends to meet you. It responds not to your desire, but to your frequency. This is the great secret hidden in plain sight. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. And so the path is not to chase the life you long for, but to become the vibration that matches it. When you embody peace, peace finds you. When you radiate abundance, doors open. When you align with love, love flows freely. The vibration comes first. The experience follows. But the ego resists this. The ego wants to force, to strive, to manipulate. It says, I will be peaceful when life calms down. I will be loving when I am loved. I will be whole when I am healed. But the soul whispers a different truth. Be peaceful and life will come. Be loving and you will feel love. Be whole now and healing will arise from within. You see, the soul does not wait. It does not bargain. It does not live conditionally. It knows only one way of being true. And truth vibrates higher than any strategy, any effort, any persona. When you let go of what you are not, your vibration rises naturally. You do not need to add anything to yourself. You only need to remove the mask, the stories, the noise. What remains is pure frequency. And that frequency is love. This is why silence heals. This is why stillness awakens. Because in the quiet, your truest vibration is no longer drowned by thought. It rises, it expands, it speaks. The divine does not live in words. It lives in resonance. And when you enter resonance with your own soul, you enter resonance with God. This is not religion. This is not belief. This is being. This is frequency. This is truth vibrating as you. Do not ask the world to validate you. Ask your soul, is this who I am? When the answer is yes, your vibration becomes clear. And in that clarity, the universe rearranges itself to support you. You are never being punished. You are always being mirrored. What you call rejection may be protection. What you call delay may be divine alignment. What you call failure may be the hand of the infinite lifting you out of frequency that no longer serves your becoming. Every experience is feedback. Every relationship is a reflection. Every moment is an invitation to tune your vibration closer to the divine within you. And what is this divine? It is not separate. It is not elsewhere. It is not outside. It is the silent current moving through your breath, the still voice beneath your fears, the open space behind your eyes. It is the you that watches you, the witness, the awareness, the presence. You are that presence. You are not the roles you play. You are not your thoughts. You are not your history. You are the field in which all those things appear and disappear. And when you identify with that field, you vibrate differently. You no longer seek to be seen. You begin to see. You no longer need to be heard. You begin to hear. You no longer crave attention. You begin to attend to what matters. This is the power of vibration. It is the difference between force and flow, between pretending and presence, between chasing and allowing. You were not born to strive endlessly for what is already yours. You were born to remember that your frequency is your magnetism, that your alignment is your power, that your vibration is your sacred signature in the field of all things. So breathe. Let go of the tension that says you must prove your worth. Let go of the belief that your value is earned. Let go of the illusion that your identity is in what you do. And return to the silent center within you. Return to the gentle hum of being. Return to the vibration of truth. Because when you are in truth, you are in God. When you are in alignment, you are in communion. When you are in love, not the feeling, but the frequency, you are home. The world does not need more noise. It needs more presence, and your greatest offering is not your opinion, your accomplishments, or your perfection. It is your vibration when it is rooted in love, honesty, and peace. Let this be your prayer, not spoken, but lived. May I vibrate with the frequency of my soul. May I release what is false. May I allow what is true. May I remember who I am. And in that remembrance, may I be a blessing to the world, not by trying, but by being. Your vibration is your communication with the divine. It always has been, and now may you listen. And so we continue not by moving forward, but by moving inward, deeper still, into the heart of remembrance. For the soul does not rush. It does not strive towards some distant peak. It unfolds like dawn, slowly dissolving the darkness, not with effort, but with light. And this light is your essence, unhurried, unforced, undeniable. You do not ascend to higher realms by climbing, but by releasing. The ladder is not up. It is down inward through the layers of identity you've accumulated and you're forgetting. Each step is a surrender. Each moment of stillness is a doorway. Each breath is a key. There is a vastness within you untouched by fear, unmarred by time. It has never known insecurity, never doubted its worth, never asked the world for permission to exist. This is your eternal nature. It doesn't seek to become, it simply is. And when you tune to this, your vibration becomes not something to achieve, but something to allow. To vibrate at the level of spirit is not to escape the human, but to infuse it with the sacred. It is to walk barefoot on this earth and feel the sky move through your chest. It is to meet the mundane with holy awareness, to pour presence into the overlooked, to remember that every leaf, every tear, every gesture is God revealing itself in form. You are not here to perform your way to enlightenment. You are here to shed the layers until only light remains. And that shedding is not violent. It is gentle. It is the undoing of effort, the untying of the knot. It is the way a flower opens not by demand, but by being warm from within. What raises your vibration is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is quiet, sacred, subtle. It is the choice to forgive instead of resent, to listen instead of react, to soften instead of defend. These moments, small, tender, almost invisible, are seismic in the realm of spirit, because every time you choose love over fear, your entire being shifts closer to truth. Do not ask how to reach the divine. Ask where you have been resisting its presence. For the divine is not a distant star. It is the warmth behind your chest. It is the silence that holds your thoughts. It is the formless awareness gazing through your eyes, waiting patiently for you to see from it rather than toward it. You are not seeking connection. You are remembering oneness. You are not building a bridge to God. You are dissolving the illusion that one was ever needed. The vibration of separation is heavy. It is the frequency of fear, of shame, of striving. But the vibration of unity is weightless. It is the frequency of grace. It lifts you not because you have achieved it, but because you have ceased to deny it. And so we are invited not to do more, but to be more present, to sit in the sacredness of this moment and feel its fullness. To recognize that now is not a stepping stone. It is the destination. Every breath is the divine visiting you. Every heartbeat is the infinite reminding you, I am here. I am you. In this space, the heart becomes the compass, not the organ that pumps, but the seat of knowing, the temple of intuition, the sanctuary of truth. The heart does not argue. It does not analyze. It speaks through vibration. It says yes with warmth, no with tightness. It guides not with maps, but with feeling. Trust it and your path will open like petals to the Sunday. You are not here to be understood by the mind of the world. You are here to resonate with the rhythm of eternity. And that resonance may not make sense. It may not be logical. It may not be applauded, but it will be true. And truth has a frequency that nothing false can imitate. This is the freedom your soul longs for. Not the freedom to do whatever you want, but the freedom to be exactly who you are. The permission to drop the act, to walk unarmored, to vibrate not from the mask, but from the soul. There is no courage greater than this. To live in resonance with your being is to become a living prayer. Not a recitation, not a doctrine, but a frequency of remembrance. A lighthouse for other souls who have forgotten the way home. And the beauty is you do not need to preach. You do not need to convince. You do not need to change the world. You only need to be fully here, rooted, radiant, real. Because your vibration speaks louder than anything you could ever say. And when it aligns with love, with peace, with truth, the entire universe listens and it sings with you. There is a rhythm that underlies all of life. It is not fast. It is not frantic. It does not answer to the clock or the calendar. It moves like a tide eternal, unfaltering, sacred. And when you slow down enough to match this rhythm, your whole existence becomes music. Not the kind you hear, but the kind you become. A vibration so pure, so resonant that it dissolves every illusion of separation. We have been conditioned to hurry, to fix, to prove, to race toward a horizon that always recedes. But the soul is not in the race. The soul is in the pause, in the exhale, in the space between the doing, where presence hums quietly like a secret you once knew, but forgot how to hear. To return to your natural vibration is to return to this sacred pace. It is to remember that you are not here to catch up. You are here to wake up. Wake up to the moment, to the now, to the vast field of being in which everything you've been chasing already exists. The mind will resist this. It has been trained in the language of urgency. It believes that stillness is laziness, that gentleness is weakness, that ease is earned only after exhaustion. But the soul knows a deeper truth, that your worth is not found at the end of striving, but in the center of surrender. This surrender is not defeat. It is the return of alignment. It is the releasing of the false self, the constructed self, the defended self. And what emerges in its place is your original vibration. The sound of your being before the world taught you how to edit it. When you live from this vibration, you no longer react, you respond. You no longer push, you allow. You no longer grasp, you trust. This is not passivity. It is power in its most refined form. The power that moves mountains not by shouting at them, but by dissolving the illusion that they are in the way. For in truth, nothing is in the way. Not your pain, not your past, not your uncertainty. These are not blocks. They are invitations. Each one a teacher, each one a mirror, each one a vibrational whisper saying, come home, come deeper, come truer. And so you begin to walk differently, not faster, but lighter. Not with urgency, but with presence. Your steps are guided not by a map, but by resonance. You no longer seek signs, you are the sign. You no longer wait for miracles. You realize your very breath is a miracle. Your every word, when spoken from this depth, becomes an extension of the divine. And what does this depth ask of you? Only everything that is false. Only the layers that weigh you down and dull your frequency. Only the need to be anything other than what you already are. The divine does not need your performance. It needs your presence. It needs the unfiltered you, the trembling you, the brave you who stands in the truth of your being, even when your voice shakes. Because it is in that rawness, in that honest, vulnerable vibration that the infinite can finally reach through and touch the world as you. And when you allow that, when you surrender to being a vessel instead of a persona, the sacred begins to orchestrate your life with such precision, such grace, that it takes your breath away. People arrive not by accident, but by resonance. Opportunities come not through effort, but through alignment. The path unfolds not by calculation, but by surrender. This is the art of vibrating with the divine. You stop asking, what do I need to do? And you begin asking, what do I need to be? And the answer is always be what you truly are, not what the world molded you into, not what your wounds have convinced you to become, but what you were before the fear, before the roles, before the stories. The vibration of that version of you is pure freedom, not the freedom to escape life, but the freedom to embody it fully, to drink from it, to dance with it, to hurt and heal and weep and laugh with a kind of openness that only the soul remembers. You do not need to rise above your humanity to touch the divine. You need only to fall so deeply into the truth of your being that the divine rises through you. And in that rising, your vibration changes the room before you even speak. It calms the storm without raising your voice. It heals not by fixing, but by holding. It blesses not by preaching, but by being. You are not here to be impressive. You are here to be a lighthouse, a frequency, a reminder. You are the vibration of truth walking in a world that has forgotten its own sound. And the more you remember, the more you invite others to do the same. Not with force, but with your very presence. This is how you communicate with the divine. Not with your words, not with your plans, but with the frequency of your soul. Live fully, breathe deeply, and offered without resistance. So stay with me. We are just beginning to remember what you've always been. And now the quiet expands like dawn stretching its golden fingers across the sky of your inner world. In this sacred stillness where nothing is asked of you, where no mask is needed, something profound begins to happen. Your awareness softens not into confusion, but into clarity, not into detachment, but into this is the soft gaze of the soul. Seeing not through the eyes of judgment, but through the eyes of knowing. You begin to see your life not as a sequence of tasks or trials, but as a vibration in motion. Every encounter becomes a reflection of your inner song. Every challenge an invitation to refine your resonance. And suddenly life is not something to overcome. It is something to tune into. Like a sacred frequency that once heard makes the chaos seem almost orchestral. There is nothing random in a universe built of energy. There is nothing meaningless in a reality where every thought becomes form. When you vibrate from authenticity, you no longer have to convince life to bless you. It cannot help but do so. Blessings are not earned through strain, they arrive as harmonies. When your inner note is played true, but this requires a radical shift, not in your outer world, but in how you meet it. You begin to meet life not with defense, but with reverence. You see, every situation is alive with spirit. Every person is a mirror of some part of yourself that longs to be seen, loved, or released. Even discomfort becomes sacred because you have stopped resisting the teacher carries within. To vibrate in alignment is to trust without needing proof, to offer your presence without needing to be received, to move through the world like water, not because you are soft, but because you are surrendered. You no longer grip the outcome. You no longer chase the validation. You become a stream flowing from the source through the moment and back again. You will find that as your vibration rises, your need for explanation dissolves. The more attuned you are, the less you explain, and the more you emanate. Your life becomes your message. Your stillness becomes your strength. People may ask what changed in you, but they won't always have the words. They'll just feel it. A peace that needs no defense. A joy that isn't trying to be joy. A truth that doesn't need a pulpit. This is the beauty of energy. It cannot be faked. It either resonates or it doesn't. And so your task is not to convince the world of your light. It is to let it shine without apology, not as a performance, but as a state of being. A frequency of remembering that pulses through you until there is no longer a difference between who you are and what you radiate. Even your silence becomes powerful when it is rooted in truth. It no longer feels like absence. It feels like depth, a presence too full to speak yet too generous to be missed. And it draws others not because it tries, but because it is real. That's what all beings are seeking beneath their masks. Something real enough to awaken their own. The more you release the need to be understood, the more you begin to truly understand. You no longer need agreement to feel peace. You no longer need certainty to feel safe. You realize that what you are flows far deeper than what you can ever explain. And here something miraculous unfolds. You stop fearing change because you've come to see that change is not disruption, but refinement, not destruction, but alignment. Everything that leaves, everything that falls away is simply no longer vibrating with who you've become. You don't mourn the fall and leaves when autumn arrives. You trust the cycle. You trust the letting go. And so you begin to do the same with your own becoming. With each inner death, a more radiant truth is born. Letting go becomes an act of love, not a loss, but a return. A homecoming to the clearest version of your frequency. You drop the habits, the identities, the attachments. Not because you're giving up, but because you're rising. Rising not above the world, but into it. Into your body, into your life. Into the present where the divine is always waited. Patiently humming your name in a vibration you could only hear when you finally became quiet enough to listen. You are listening now. So breathe. Stay with this silence. It is not emptiness. It is the fullness of your soul remembered at last. You are not here to escape the world. You are here to meet it from your center anchored, spacious, unshaken. Not because the world is gentle, but because your vibration no longer depends on its storms. You begin to realize that true power is not in how loudly you speak, but in how deeply you live. How consistently you remain in truth when everything around you tempts you to perform, to defend, to forget. This is the quiet revolution of the awakened soul. It does not wave flags or claim territory. It simply becomes a sanctuary, a living refuge. Others feel it and do not know why they soften in your presence, why they feel seen without being scrutinized, why they feel safe without needing to explain themselves. You are no longer a personality, they are encountering presence. And presence heals. Your vibration becomes medicine. The moment you stop trying to be the healer, the moment you release the need to fix and remember instead how to feel. Feel everything, not just the light, but the shadow, not just the beauty, but the grief. Because every feeling allowed fully becomes sacred. Every emotion honored without judgment becomes a song that purifies the soul. And here is the paradox. The more you allow what is, the higher your vibration becomes. Not because you are achieving purity, but because you are no longer resisting your humanity. You are no longer splitting yourself into sacred and profane, light and dark, worthy and unworthy. You are remembering that the divine does not come to you despite your imperfections. It comes to you through them. The wound is not the absence of God. It is the place where God waits patiently for your return. So do not rush your healing. Do not try to bypass the ache in search of the bliss. Bliss will come, but only after you have become spacious enough to hold both the joy and the sorrow in equal reverence. The flower blooms because at first surrender to the soil, and so surrender not as a giving up, but as a rising in truth. Surrender the image. Surrender the need to be understood. Surrender the fear that you are somehow falling behind in a race that does not exist. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where the unfolding needs you to be. Every delay is a devotion. Every detour is a design. Nothing is wasted when your life is seen through the lens of vibration. Even your silence is working on your behalf. When it is rooted in inner truth, even your stillness is a prayer. When it is held with intention, you do not need to be seen to be significant. The soul does not crave attention. It longs for alignment. And alignment is quiet. It arrives like breath, subtle, unnoticed by the mind, but undeniable to the heart. When you are aligned, there is no confusion about your path, even if the road ahead remains unmarked, because your steps are not guided by maps, they are guided by resonance. You start to feel it in your body in the way certain spaces contract your chest and others expand it, in the way certain people pull you into performance while others call you back to present. You no longer weigh options by logic alone. You listen to the sound your soul makes in each situation. And the soul always knows, not with answers, but with peace. Peace is the confirmation. Peace is the compass. It doesn't shout, but it does not lie. When you follow that peace, when you move toward what brings calm to your nervous system, what brings quiet to your mind, what brings breath to your heart, you are following your highest vibration. And when you follow that, you don't just find your path, you become it. Let this be your revolution, not in doing more, not in an achieving louder, but in vibrating deeper. Let your life hum with the frequency of your truth so clearly that everything unlike it falls away, not from rejection, but from natural dissonance. You no longer need to fight your way forward. You need only to stand still, deeply rooted in what is real, and allow life to find its way to you. Because when you become resonance, all that belongs to you begins to recognize your sound. And it comes without force, without doubt, without delay. It comes because you are finally ready to receive, not with your hands, but with your being. And that is the purest vibration of all. And now, beloved soul, we arrive not at an ending, but at a soft landing where your awareness settles not in the mind's conclusions, but in the heart's knowing. The journey was never outward. It was a deep spiraling return to presence, to essence, to the sacred pulse of your own being. You are no longer reaching. You are resonating, no longer waiting for the divine to show itself in thunder or fire, but feeling it arrive as stillness in your breath, as peace that asks for nothing. You have become a vessel not of achievement, but of remembering. And what you have remembered is this: you are already the light. You are already the prayer. You are already the vibration that speaks most fluently to the infinite. Not in the language of effort, but in the poetry of alignment. The need to prove has dissolved. The grasping has softened. What remains is what was always here. Your frequency unclouded and unforced, humming with the sacred simplicity of truth. You are no longer a seeker. You are an instrument tuned to the divine, vibrating with quiet assurance that nothing was ever missing. This is what it means to be in harmony, not to be perfect, not to be untouched by pain, but to be so deeply rooted in the truth of who you are that no storm can distort your signal. Even when the winds rise, you do not falter, you vibrate. Even when the night is long, you do not forget. You remain because your essence is not a flicker. It is a flame lit from within, fed not by the world, but by the source that births stars and oceans, and the breath you are taking now. You are not an accident of dust. You are a declaration of light. And every moment you live in alignment with that knowing, you amplify the frequency of healing in this world. Others will feel you even before they see you. They will sense something quiet but clear, something strong without hardness, something gentle but immovable. They will feel your peace and wonder where you found it. And though you may offer words, they will understand more from your presence than your answers. You will walk into rooms and lift them, not because you are trying, but because you are being. And this being is your greatest service, not your status, not your image, just the unshakable truth of a soul that vibrates in harmony with love itself. Let this be your life now. Not a pursuit, but a presence, not a performance, but a frequency. Let your every breath be a blessing, your every silence a sanctuary, your every step a ripple in the sacred field that connects all things. You do not need to do more. You need only to be as you are, with nothing withheld, nothing forced. That vibration sustained in honesty, in openness, in surrender. That is your deepest communication with the divine. You do not have to speak to be heard. You do not have to seek to be found. You do not have to ascend to be holy. You only have to remember and resonate, because in the end, it is not your words, your plans, or even your prayers that shape your destiny. It is your vibration. And your vibration, beloved soul, when aligned with truth, becomes the voice of the universe whispering through you, I am here, I am home, I am free. And so it is.